How's it guys, Munash here, and today we have an Act 6 Chapter 4 Darkhawk solo with Black Widow Voyant. Now, first thing I'm gonna say is, if you haven't noticed by the length of the video, this is a bit of a long fight. Black Widow is not the best counter for it, I guess, just because of her damage output, but she still works pretty well in terms of actually countering the fight. So I don't know if I would recommend her for this fight, because I mean you probably have a better counter. But if you have a really stacked Black Widow Voyant, then it's not bad. Mine, on the other hand, is not that stacked. It's just a rank 5 without any boosts or synergies, and probably the biggest one without any suicides, because that does boost her damage quite a bit. So this is kind of an entry-level rank 5 Clairvoyant. You know, she hasn't been pimped out or souped up, so everything is just stock. The only thing you could say is sort of customized is that I have MD in this fight, which didn't actually do much because he only gains one buff, which is the regen when he switches modes. And in some situations it was actually messing up my rotation because I was gaining too much power, since Darkhawk is immune to bleed and poison, so I was throwing heavy attacks for the power gain. So I would want to throw my special 2, but I'd have to bait his special 2 first because that'll put him in stealth mode, which will disable the auto block. Then I can throw my special 2 pretty safely, but of course that'll trigger the regen, which will trigger my dispersion, and then I'll get to 3 bars of power. If I already had a lot of power at the time, then I would be forced to throw a special 3 and deal with Hurt Locker, which actually isn't that bad because you can just parry heavy to disable it, or rather disarm the delayed blast. And to make it even easier, you can just parry before throwing the special 3, then afterwards you just throw a heavy attack while he's still stunned. Although sometimes there is a bit of a delay before you can throw the heavy attack, so you might just need to delay it by like half a second. Also, because I threw approximately 10,000 special 3s in this fight, I decided to skip all of them except for the first one, because the fight's long enough already and it can get pretty boring watching the same animation over and over again. So if you see her go from spreading her legs, her spider legs, to that post-death touch laugh or smirk, don't be alarmed by the break in continuity, it's just the magical powers of video editing. And even after removing almost all the special 3 animation time, it's still a bit of a long one. But it still made a difference because the original fight time was about 15 minutes. And to be honest, I didn't even notice it when I was doing the fight. I mean, to me it felt like it took 10 minutes tops. I was just having a good time with Clairvoyant taking down the blue Power Ranger, slowly but surely. Maybe it's because I recently got her, so she's still pretty fresh and exciting to me. So I probably enjoy using her more than the average person who has her, and the time just flies by. So it was only after doing this fight when I checked the recording, then I saw how long the fight actually took. I was like, oh, it's over already, well that was kind of fun. Then I checked the recording and saw that it was 16 minutes long, and I was like, what? How did I spend this much time fighting this Act 6 boss? That's roughly how long a lot of my war videos are. But this is just one fight, it's not even like an abyss fight, it's just one 400,000 health fight. Sure, it's a bit more complicated with her, but still, that's a lot of time to spend on one Act 6 boss. Unless it's the Grandmaster, of course, because that one does depend on who you're using and which rule set is active. But I was like, damn, do I still upload this fight? Because who's gonna want to watch Clairvoyant take down a 440k health Darkhawk boss in over 10 minutes? I don't even think I could talk about this fight for 10 minutes and still make it interesting. I'd probably have to go off on so many tangents and just keep rambling until something significant happens. Then I'd go back and commentate over the fight like, oh, did you see that? And that's why I did this and blah blah blah, and then just carry on. But I really wanted to try this fight because this is the one boss in 6.4 where I wasn't sure if Clairvoyant would be a good counter for. But I figured she should work just because on paper she does have the utility to counter pretty much all the annoying stuff in this fight. Darkhawk is a robot, so immune to bleed and poison, which means more power gain for her whenever she applies those debuffs. Until she has 20 charges, then she can do some decent special 3 damage. The lifesteal from her special 2 is pretty good for mitigating block damage from her special 1. And if I don't need it, then what I usually would like to do is switch to the Hellfire Curse and then throw a special 2. While I still have Death Touch active from the special 3, because that special 2 will do more damage than any of her other special attacks. It should do at very least about 42,000 damage, and that's if all 8 hits don't crit. And of course it just looks cool. While I suppose all her special attacks look cool, in fact that's actually what attracted me to the champ in the first place, just how slick and smooth her animations are in general. But it is a bit difficult to switch against this Darkhawk since he auto blocks when he's in shield mode. So that 4th light attack that switches stances can get auto blocked because the parry stun just isn't long enough. And if he's not in shield mode, he's probably in stealth mode, which means you have a chance to miss on that 4th light attack. So I just stuck with the bleed curse and utilized the regen. So basically this fight is parry heavy to build power, alternate between special 3 and special 2, and try to throw the special 2 while death touch is active. Also try to bait the special 2 just so you take less block damage from the special 1. He does have power efficiency, which helps with that. And another big thing that really helps is combo baiting, which is basically where you hold block and then let the opponent dash at you, and then you dash back and then they follow up with a medium or a light attack, then you parry that second hit. And this is just really good for managing when they throw a special attack, so I'm basically preventing him from throwing a special 1. It's just fortunate that Darkhawk is one of those champs that this works well against, just due to his animations. And it's actually combo baiting that's keeping me in this fight, because you saw not long ago, well about 90 seconds ago, I thought I parried him but I just blocked like a noob instead. Just wasn't paying attention, didn't have sound on. So I tried to throw a heavy attack thinking he would be parry stunned, but of course he's not since he's not parried. So then he threw his own heavy attack, which took me down to 19% health. I lost nearly 80% health in that one interaction. So then I had to play a lot more cautiously and make sure I get all my parries right, and really utilize combo baiting to avoid taking that special 1 block damage. Cause when I needed the regen the most, he just wouldn't throw the special 2 in time, so death touch expired unfortunately, resulting in small regen, which is obviously not as good as big regen. So I kind of had to play a bit on the edge for a large portion of this fight. In fact, it was only after this current cycle where I managed to get back a decent amount of health with the lifesteal. Then from that point it was pretty much smooth sailing throughout. Just a bit of a long one because, like I said earlier, I'm using a very basic clairvoyant. Also, it's not really a great matchup for her, you know, she can't really switch stances freely, and the rotation just isn't great for maximizing damage per second. But she still works for it and finished the fight with 97% health. And also, she's not really known for her damage output. I mean, for me, she's all about the utility. You know, just the sheer amount of matchups that she can handle is what makes her such a great champ. So I really am glad I finally have her in my roster, because I feel like she was that one champ that's almost essential that I was missing. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me. Hope you guys found this interesting. As always, thank you for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon.